So thanks for joining us today. Basically, we're going to be talking about SEO certification. And first off, if you haven't visited the channel before, or if you haven't seen any of the videos and you don't even know who the heck I am, let me just give you just real quick background. So I've actually spent about 17 years on and off in the SEO industry. And currently I'm at this organization that you see here with this floating dog called Electric. And so I'm the head of SEO at this agency, really cool agency. So if you do have any CPG, DTC kind of SEO needs or just overall marketing channel, services for lifecycle marketing, i.e., email and SMS, web design, content marketing, and literally the whole gamut, social as well. Reach out. So anyway, this wasn't a commercial to honestly talk about Electric, but it's a really cool agency that I have the opportunity to work with. So anyway, I've also built out another agency that still ranks quite a bit, a little hokier as far as design and all that great stuff. But if you do the searches in Seattle for basically terms that we sought after at the beginning, we still show up for the most part in the top positions. Yeah, here, number one. So yeah, I think I know my industry pretty well to the degree that I could probably comment on what we're talking about here today. So I may do another version of this video just to make it look a little bit prettier. That's never been my, I guess, forte as far as producing content like this. But hopefully this resonates or this helps if you are considering SEO certification. So the impetus behind this video here today is that I am going to start mentoring a group of other aspiring SEOs. I decided when somebody reached out to me after they read some of these posts that I made out there, that they thought I had a lot to share. So I thought, what the heck? I like educating. I really have enjoyed helping people basically learn in a lot of different fields. And this is my forte. So I am going to share as much as I possibly can with these people and see how it goes. I've done this before. And so along the lines of certification, or at least helping people understand this nebulous industry that's been around for 20 years. Plus, I thought it would be helpful if I just at least scan through what exists currently with SEO certification and commented about it here today. And maybe I'll have some other thoughts when I come back and do this later down the road. But just going to throw this up on the YouTube video and see how it resonates with all of you out there who are searching for SEO certification. So first off, if you do throw this into Google, you will find, potentially how many people are searching for it. What I'm going to do here is, I don't know if you can see the window, but I do have a Chrome extension applied to the instances that are in a separate profile, which I don't think you can see right now. But what it does do is it gives me the ability to see how many times people are searching for a term that I throw into this search bar. So it says 2,400 people. So 2,400 people in the United States are searching for this term SEO certification every single month. So the field has grown to literally about 50 to $80 billion or thereabouts this past year. And so it makes sense that this is growing as a field as well. We want to standardize and hopefully help people understand the different facets of SEO. And so it really, really makes sense. So, honestly, is it legit? The SEO industry, frankly, has been hit from all sides, from us telling people what it is to, people who are making the decision to actually pay for it, to people building out departments that leverage it and, frankly, reap the benefits from it. Amazon has grown to the size that it has a lot because of its SEO backbone, or at least its SEO skills and SEO that they've done in the past. And people don't even realize it, but a lot of their business was driven because they were sitting in the organic positions. Another thing that's taken over the world over the past 20 years is Wikipedia, and they have relied on SEO to a significant degree. And so as a result, they did a lot of things probably they didn't even know they were doing that helped them show up in all the different positions that they ascertained. And so they are considered probably the most SEO'd site in the world, at least in terms of traffic. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about certification. And so today the reason why I bring up those things is because it's unfortunate, but there are a lot of people who do not have really the vetted skill set that perhaps people need to have in order to apply a lot of what SEO can do. The other thing that is challenging is the expectations that people have for SEO. And as a result, frankly, even if you know what you're doing, it doesn't always translate to results. And so that's why, frankly, certification slash maybe education slash mentoring and all these other things might be helpful for the industry. Now, with that said, I don't think we're there. So if you look through these four different, paid positions, which, frankly, are not necessarily always going to be the most reliable, only two of them seem to make sense as far as maybe why you'd click through to see if and actually two meaning two results here, but, two of them are actually being paid for. Oh, sorry, actually one. I apologize. It looked like two ads, but I just didn't realize the first one is actually organic. But this is the same thing. So I would say this one and this one might be worth clicking through. So I did click through to the LinkedIn, but it's more of a tutorial. So this isn't a certification as far as I can see. I haven't dove in to see if they actually provide a certification. So this isn't really anything except an ad that gets you to LinkedIn Learning. And as a result, I would just kind of discount that for now. But the HubSpot certification is a quote unquote certification for SEO. Now, what I would argue is this is not a true certification or something that has actually been vetted by another third party or something that's been industry accepted, but it's just a way to derive some sort of, frankly, acquisition or biz dev, or sorry, what would I say? But regardless, it's more marketing for HubSpot. So I would not say this is the best. I mean, the 6 components of their curriculum are literally just basics of SEO. So I don't know if this is necessarily the greatest thing in the world for SEO certification. However, they're good enough at SEO in themselves to the top position for this, phrase that's being sought out 2,400 times a month. So, but just as a heads up, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I haven't done all of these modules. I've actually clicked through to a few because the agency that I work at, our company actually uses HubSpot. And as a result, I had access to a little bit of it. These are good things that you need to learn. But again, is it really legit certification that you could use to potentially, apply for a job? Maybe if the company that you apply to doesn't understand what this is, or if the HR department folks have zero clue. I mean, it could be a nice little, bullet point on your resume. So maybe that's the benefit from it. If you look through the other results, the next one comes from one of the biggest SEO tools in the world. SEMrush. I almost said Ahrefs because that's the other one. And I'm assuming that Ahrefs probably is even considering doing that. No, maybe not in terms of straight up web content, but I do know that they sit here, or at least they're advertising here in the YouTube section, and then they have perhaps another video in here that's embedded in this other video regarding SEO certifications because they highlight it. But I don't know. Who knows? And when I went through this little guide by, SEMrush, again, this isn't necessarily the most perfect aggregation or summary of all the different real options that exist. It just gives you what they perhaps saw and then gave you an evaluation of it. But it does rank because perhaps they are the only ones who put it all together in the SEO friendly ways that this content, frankly, will show up or help them show up as number one for this phrase. And so this guide isn't a bad guide because it does at least show you the different options that do sort of exist. but there aren't a lot of great options in here. Now, with that said, as you get more and more in depth in this, or at least you go to the options towards the end, like Yost's training slash maybe the training by Market Motive, I haven't went in and actually done it, frankly, but I have a strong feeling it's going to be very much like the LinkedIn sort of modules or the ones that are provided by HubSpot, and but just a little bit more detailed. You could probably just watch or sorry, listen to a lot of SEO podcasts or perhaps YouTube videos and get the same thing. This isn't necessarily giving you 100% the best education possible to round out every single skill set, because ultimately you need to have the ability to truly do the SEO, in my opinion, to have this actually be worth something. And that is why a lot of these certifications, or why basically this is not necessarily the best set of standards yet, and something to kind of consider. And again, I will be happy to speak to all the other options and frankly the other programs that perhaps exist out there at a later time after posting this video. But that's just my 2 cents. I mean, if you really want to learn SEO, I would argue there's a few different places that you should go. One is this, which is learningseo.io. It was put together by one of the best speakers in the SEO industry, and she is relatively well known because of this. Her name's Aleda Solis, and she put together this really comprehensive guide, which I've actually thought about building myself. It's prettier than probably what I would build. But it definitely gives you lots of resources. Now, with that said, is it perfect? Well, there's arguments that could be made that doesn't hit on every single thing that perhaps you might need. It might be too much. Like, it might be overwhelming for somebody who's actually trying to learn at least the basics to intermediate level. I mean, it's good for, I would argue, intermediate to advanced. But then you might need somebody to guide you, or at least help you understand what's really important. Because if you went through every single resource, it might take you up to 2 years or so just to get through it all. And then the question is whether or not you would even pick up the information, or at least have it where it's useful and something that you can kind of apply out in the world if you ever do SEO yourself. And so that's one of the downsides, but overall, it's a great aggregation of a lot of the resources online. A couple blogs that I would argue that you should probably read as well is Ahrefs blog. So theirs is not bad. Has lots of great materials, but again, maybe you'd want it organized. SEMrush, as you saw, does a pretty good job as well. And does show up quite a bit for a lot of the different topics that are related to SEO. And I would say the king of them all, or the most well-known one, is basically Moz's blog, and I would argue this is probably the best. But completely up to you as far as what you believe is the best set of resources, but you would probably get the same type of content slash same type of, but less organized in these kind of blogs. But they have it. So if you truly wanted to do something similar to those SEO certifications, I would just go get the outlines of those SEO certifications and then literally search through all of these, put it together, and then help yourself by literally organizing that material that you find the most useful, and maybe even aggregate all three of them together and do something like what Aleda did with her, learningseo.io. And I will bet you will learn more. So that's my 2 cents as far as SEO certification is concerned, or at least the primary goal, which is probably learning SEO. And one thing to just finalize what I wanted to share here today is make sure you build out websites and start to test and SEO themselves. And so that is something that I would say you should do in conjunction, or simultaneously with this learning, and you will probably get the best results or benefits from frankly doing that in tandem with basically this learning of yours. And once you do that, I believe, or I would argue, you should be good enough to pass any, bar that frankly, people might set out there. But the other thing that you may want to do is perhaps research all the job profiles, or sorry, job descriptions, or the details of all the different job postings that are out there, and then try to backfill that with all this content or information. Get mentors. I just actually answered a big or a Reddit post that was asking this question about the industry, or how we can literally legitimize the industry to a certain degree. And I pointed out three things. I believe it was something along the lines of practicing it, with the websites, getting mentors, and talking to people. I think were the two others. And so if you're able to do that, you would probably get just as much benefits, if not more, than any SEO certification. So hopefully this helps. Again, this was just kind of an impromptu video that I decided to put together. And yeah, feel free to comment down below as far as any thoughts regarding the whole topic of SEO certification. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and perhaps any ideas that we can tap into for the next video on SEO certification. I'll perhaps make something a lot better, maybe a little bit prettier, maybe comment, or actually expound on any of the questions or thoughts that you might have down here in the comment section. So please feel free to drop those down there. And if you really liked this video or any other videos that we have, feel free to hit that subscribe button or whatever. That's, I guess, what people do here on YouTube. So hope you enjoyed or appreciated some of the content, or sorry, some of the stuff that I said here today. And feel free to reach out, leave those comments. And yeah, I think that's about it here for today. Have a good one, and thanks for joining us here on this SEO channel.